What was it like fighting Muhammad Ali? It wasn't a whole lot of fun, but we had two tough fights, and it's funny if the people think of me, it's usually think of me fighting Muhammad. You know, usually it's like the most often asked question of me when I meet people is, what was it like to fight Muhammad Ali? And I always say it the same way, it wasn't a whole lot of fun. But we had two tough fights. I think I did pretty good the second fight. A lot of people thought I won the second fight. A lot of sports writers wrote about that, but I lost the first fight. It was a tough fight, 15 rounds. I took it on 17 days notice, but I was still in pretty good shape. So that's really not an excuse. I was in pretty good shape, and I finished pretty strong in that fight. So, but anyway, he won the fight, and but I always say, guess who went to the hospital after the fight, and who went dancing after the fight? Muhammad went to the hospital after the fight, and I went dancing with my wife. What made Ali so good? If there was one word that you could put together, it would be speed. He had speed of foot, hand speed, the fastest puncher I ever fought, also the fastest moving fighter I ever fought. And so it's a pretty deadly combination. And he's tough to trap, and he was also a very intelligent fighter, and he was the whole package. Well, I always liked him. It's kind of crazy. You fight somebody, and you become friends for the rest of your life. It's kind of crazy, but that's what happened. And Muhammad and I have been in touch here and there over the course of the last 20, 30, 50 years, whatever. And he's always been cordial, always been complimentary, always been a nice guy. Plain and simple, a nice guy.
And what about the stands that he took as not going in the draft? Did you support him during that time? What did you think?
Well, that was a tough call. I mean, if the U.S. calls for you to go fight for them, it's kind of hard to say no. It wasn't hard for him. He made a stance, and yeah, I guess you had to respect it. It wasn't a case of him not really wanting to fight. It was a case of him not wanting to fight for that cause. It was a tough call to make, but he stood by his belief. He stood by his faith, and I guess you can't knock him for that.
When's the last time you saw Muhammad? Do you guys talk often, or?
Well, he can't talk anymore. That's the problem. I saw him a few months ago. It was around his birthday, and kind of hard to see him the way he is now, the way he once was. I mean, he was so vibrant. He was so energetic. He was a real handsome guy. And very talkative and very outgoing. And now when you see him, he's been reduced to a mere shadow of his former self, really. And it's kind of hard to see him that way. But that's life.